something is still already. So you're just gonna smile at the entire time and just look very happy. Okay. Everyone's actually gonna smile. He said, okay. When clapping needs to happen. Yeah. When everyone's clapping, just clap along. Call you back up when she's a little closer, okay? Thank you.
Podium check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Final check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Thumbs up. 7, 8, 9, 10. Good, good, good. All right.
And now, we bring you the following live press announcement. Our regularly scheduled program will resume following the announcement.
We're optimistic here in the bid, and the rain has stopped. So even though we are indoors now, we want to be sure that invite you to join us in Farragut Square following today's ceremony, where you can enjoy music from our friends at the DC Jazz Festival and enjoy the wonderful art along the corridor and the activities in the square. And we have set up the park just for you, so we hope you enjoy it. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Art Ave. My name is Leona Agaritas, and I am the CEO of the Golden Triangle Bid. I'd like to start by thanking Mayor Bowser for her ongoing support for the Golden Triangle, for the downtown, and for the District of Columbia as a whole. A big thank you also goes to the Office of Planning and Anita Cozart for funding Art Avenue and for all of the support that they've provided throughout. Art Ave is an outdoor gallery that includes 13 large sculptures and ground floor window art. It features works from local, national, and international artists that surprise and engage passersby. And I'm sure on your way, I hope you've seen the massive living lantern in Farragut Square, but that is one of the center pieces. It spans 3 iconic downtown blocks, from Lafayette Park and the White House through Farragut Square and up Connecticut Avenue, mixing the national and the local elements of DC, but also inviting tourists and people from throughout the country and the world to enjoy this wonderful, beautiful, and safe city. Yay. Yeah. And it's on display in the Golden Triangle through January, providing color during the day and shining lights at night. Creating beautiful spaces where people want to be is an important part of the Golden Triangle's economic development strategy. That's why we feature museum-quality art and world-class landscaping throughout this neighborhood. Think about the Connecticut Avenue median just outside. The beautiful sculptures all along 19th Street in the rain gardens. Landscape parklets that we've installed throughout, but most notably spanning a whole block of M Street between 18th and 19th. Farragut Square, right? And now Art Ave. Art Ave melds artistic expression with economic development. And pulling this off in 10 months has been no small task. So a big thank you to the artists, many of which are here today, and the art advisory panel who helped us to select them, the building owners who saw our vision and allowed us, I'm not kidding here, to pour foundation, bore electricity, and site art at their front doors. Our local and federal partners, DDOT, DSLBD, DCCAH, CFA, NCPC, and NPS. And finally, the Golden Triangle team, especially Patrick and Deirdre, who managed this project from the beginning to today. Yay. It's now my pleasure to introduce Hiroshi Jacobs, creator of Spin, which you see at the corner of Connecticut and I at 815 Connecticut. Hiroshi is a DC-based artist and architect. Hiroshi.
Thank you, Leona. Good morning, everyone. My name is Hiroshi Jacobs. I am honored to be speaking to you today as a DC resident, architect, and Art Ave artist. Studios Architecture, where I work, is a proud member of the Golden Triangle Bid, and it is so exciting to see my artwork displayed just a few blocks from my office where I work. I think there are a few colleagues here who are helping us celebrate today. I think almost everyone can agree that beautiful public spaces are critical to making vibrant, functional, and safe cities that people want to live in. And public art is an essential ingredient in the creation of this vibrancy. Art that is accessible to the public helps create a culture that is more equal and free. It instills a sense of pride in our community, and when the art is playful and interactive, it allows us to bring down our guards and create more personal connections. A famous architecture critic once said that architecture is frozen music, meaning that it has rhythm, composition, and emotional resonance. I say that if architecture is frozen music, then art is frozen play. Through art, we engage in imagination and experimentation that is free of normative constraints, and we can push the boundaries of our human experience. The piece that Nabila, Sheen, who are here today, and I have created is called Spin, and it is inspired by the wobbly motion of a children's spinning top. Through the art's geometry, we encourage the viewer to revolve around and through the piece as if becoming the motion of the toy. Spin evokes a sense of childlike joy and movement, creating a moment of escape and playful reflection on the world around us. Our hope is that through collective experience of the piece, we can create connections that expand our shared understanding and empathy. Thank you so much to Leona and Deirdre and the entire Golden Triangle Bid team for entrusting all the artists with this work. Thank you also to the DC Council and our mayor for your continued support for the arts, not just through the funding, but also making sure that the arts are an integral part of building a vibrant and livable city. These are the things that make DC one of the best places to live in the world. And speaking of the mayor, please join me in welcoming someone who has been a champion for creatives in downtown DC, our mayor, Muriel Bowser.
Give Hiroshi a big round of applause. And please acknowledge Leona and the entire team at the Golden Triangle Bid. Give them a big round of applause. They have been doing wonderful, creative work in the downtown bid throughout our focus on bringing people back to the downtown, back to their offices, and experiencing just the beauty of our city. It is great to be here in downtown Washington, isn't it? And today we celebrate, as Leona has described, the opening of our free outdoor gallery that has transformed Farragut Square and the Golden Triangle with 13 large sculptures, window art, interactive artwork that will also light up the nighttime. And so we are just so grateful to all of our artists. Artists, where are you? Be acknowledged. Give them a big round of applause. So we want residents and visitors and workers to stay longer, discover local businesses and restaurants, and enjoy everything our neighborhood has to offer. We laid out a vision for our downtown with the action plan and the downtown public realm plan that Leona and the downtown DC bid were so integral in developing. And less than 2 years later, we see it coming to life. The partnership with the bid, also with the Office on Planning led by Director Cozart, have helped make this possible through the Streets for People grant. Thank you, Director Cozart. Projects like the Art Ave, we make investments in the art, seating, shade, and landscaping, the kinds of improvements that give people a reason to spend more time in DC during the day, at night, and on the weekends. So since launching Streets for People in 2022, we have supported more than 200 events and brought over 160,000 people to the downtown. Art Ave is especially meaningful because it connects so many of our priorities. It makes the downtown more vibrant, It helps us support local talent and grow the creative economy, and it is 202 Creates Month. And many of you know that we celebrate and have a particular focus on the arts economy in September during 202 Creates Month. I am very proud that many of our authors are DC based, including Hiroshi, who you just heard from. So before I close, I want to make sure everyone knows that our creative scene will be on full display in just a few days, and our teams at DSLBD have been focused on Art All Night 2025. Art All Night begins this weekend, and it is free. It's a free arts festival across all 8 wards with music, dance, fashion, film, and more. So come out to Art All Night. I think we have a new app, and I think Rosemary will talk to you about. Stay up late, bring friends and family, and enjoy your city at its best. So now I want you to hear from 2 dynamic DC leaders. We're going to start with Director Cozart from the Office of Planning, followed by Director Rosemary Suggs Evans from our Small and Local Business Department. Anita.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Mayor Bowser, for your leadership on helping us transform our downtown. Let's give Mayor Bowser a hand for that. Yes. And also want to extend my appreciation and congratulations to Leona and the entire Golden Triangle Bid team for their work in downtown. So over the past year, OP staff, Office of Planning staff, have really collaborated with bid staff, with creatives, with property owners, and others to realize Art Ave. It is something for all ages, from those who are art aficionados all the way to those who are casual observers, and children like mine who are going to be very excited to touch and play with the art and engage with the art. It really builds on the Golden Triangle's previous public space improvements, the shaded seating and tables, the landscaping, all of those things that are colorful branding that brings in visitors, but also supports the local businesses that are there. These improvements really enhance the identity of Farragut Square as a place to commemorate our unique DC history. And you can learn a little bit more about the artworks and the artists behind Art Ave by checking out the Story Guide app, which is available on various platforms. This is, again, as the mayor said, the 3rd year for the Streets for People grant program. We started it to really activate our streets, our sidewalks, our alleyways, our plazas, our parks, because this is an important resource that we have as government. With the program, we invited partners to bring their really good ideas for improving these spaces, really aligned with the Downtown DC Public Realm program. Many of you know that Golden Triangle is home to 1,700 residents, with another 1,800 near to come in the future. Also, there are 23,000 people who come in and out as Metro riders every day, and this area sees nearly 6 million visitors annually. So the vision of the Public Realm Plan is to have catalytic spaces for all of these different people who will come to Golden Triangle. One of those projects is the Connecticut Avenue Promenade. Leona started to mention that, and thinking about Farragut Square as a really important gateway for bringing people to this neighborhood. And Art Avenue really begins to make that project a reality. I want to thank OP staff. OP staff who are here, wave your hands. Let's give them a round of applause for their work. So not only their work on this really important and catalytic project, but also work that we're doing in the Chinatown neighborhood to bring together some streetscape guidelines to really enliven and support all the major investments that are happening there, both from the private sector as well as the public sector. There's also updates to zoning regulations to make it easier to do business here in DC. Certainly, I couldn't come to a mic without saying that we're excited to work on our DC 2050, our comprehensive plan rewrite, which you'll be seeing some information about workshops where you can help shape the future of our city. I also want to say that Streets for People has supported work in the downtown DC bid as well. Okay, yes, well, for the downtown DC bid, and want to make sure that you check out some of the works that's been funded by Streets for People that's happening along the Anthem Row, some public space activations there. So again, thank you for being here. Thank you for your interest and your commitment to the transformation of downtown DC. And with that, I'd like to introduce my dear colleague, Rosemary Suggs-Evans from the Department of Small and Local Business Development.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Mayor Bowser. Thank you, Leona. I'm so excited for this week. I'm going to say it again. Good morning, everyone. It's Art. Art All Night has grown into the district's largest celebration of art and culture. And this year, it is bigger, bolder, and more accessible than ever. For 2 nights, DC will become a canvas of creativity, alive with live music, theater, dance, fashion, visual arts, food, and family-friendly fun. We are especially excited about the brand new Art All Night app. This tool puts the entire festival at your fingertips. With interactive maps, real-time updates, and personalized itineraries, the app makes it easier than ever to explore what's happening, create your own unique Art All Night event. Whether you're in the Golden Triangle, H Street, Congress Heights, U Street, or any of our 21 participating main streets, 5 participating bids, the apps will help you discover new experiences, the artists and small businesses that keep DC vibrant. That means no matter where you are in the city, something is waiting for you for Art All Night. This festival also is a reflection of Mayor Bowser's commitment to supporting our small business community. Now more than ever, this is the time to shop local, dine local, and show our support for our entrepreneurs and our creators who fuel our economy and bring so much character to our neighborhoods. I want to thank our main streets, our bids, our artists, and our small businesses for the passion and dedication that they put into the festival year after year. Art All Night is truly a labor of love, and it shows the power of what we can create with government, community, and businesses come together. So come out and support small, stay late, because it's more than just a festival. It's who we are. We are DC. We are a city that celebrates art, culture, and community. We are a city that invests in our people. Make sure you download our app, Google Play Store and Apple, iPhones. All right, thank you. I'll call Leona back up.
Okay, so as a reminder, please stay with us after the ceremony and the ribbon cutting so that you can enjoy the art. It goes all the way down to Lafayette Square on all sides of Farragut Square and both sides of the street. Grab yourself a lunch, have a seat in the park, enjoy the music from the DC Jazz Festival and all of the different activities that we have planned out there for you. But now, if the speakers would please join me so that we can all cut a ribbon.
sound right now, but okay. 1 second. Okay, question. Okay.
You sent to the House Oversight. On the event-related question, just curious if any of the artists had created something reflecting what the district is going through right now with the federal surge, and if they would care to speak on it.
I'm not aware of that. These projects have been going on a long time, so I would probably think not.
On the another question on the event, what do you think the turnout is going to be like, especially for art all night? That's something that's.
Rosemary, do you want to come and talk about if we have any indication of level of interest or registration, things like that?
Yep. As you know, Art All Night, this is our 14th year. And we have seen just as much excitement from our residents, our business owners. This year, we're September 6th through the 13th. We have Dine All Night that's going on, actually happening right now. We have over 80 restaurants participating. That's more than we've ever had. So, even with the federal surge, we have restaurant owners signing up to participate. We have people that are excited and looking forward to come out and celebrate Art All Night. Our app, we've had 1,700 folks downloaded as of yesterday. So again, we have over 300 activations, and family, friends, people of all ages are excited about coming out and participating.
Okay. Mayor, on the letter that you sent to Congress, I didn't want to ask.
On the what?
On the letter you sent to the House Oversight Chair.
She has a mic behind you, so I can stop saying on the what?
Thank you. There are a few items that you did specifically point out in your letter. I want to ask you why you chose those, and then separately, one of the items you didn't mention specifically on 14-year-olds possibly being charged as adults. Your thoughts on that item specifically?
Well, I didn't mention all of them. I at the start of the letter said we reject all the anti-home rule bills, so we don't support any of them save the one about electronic transmission, which the council has asked for many years. So we didn't focus on all of them. And if your question is, do I support for the 14-year-old? I do not.
Why those three specifically to highlight?
You know, I picked some, I didn't pick others, but I bucketed our concerns, and the ones that I did speak on, I think are representative of those concerns. For example, what makes the district less efficient and effective, makes us less competitive, harder to do business here, and that is changing the congressional timelines on approving our bills. I can't tell you, and this is kind of inside baseball, the amount of uncertainty that creates in how we're able to be responsive to our citizens. So it's all burden and no benefit. And so there are other bills like that. I highlighted one that would make us, in my opinion, less safe. And I think there's a lot of misunderstanding around this notion of cash bails making us safer. We have a regime here about pretrial detention that we have recently strengthened in the law through Secure DC, and it was recently extended through the most recent crime bill that focuses on holding people pre-trial who are dangerous and who have demonstrated that. And I firmly believe that we're holding the right people pre-trial, and that's why we've seen the use of guns and violence go down in our city so precipitously over the last 2 years. I also focused on more on home rule agencies or things that I think would make us even less democratic, and that's talking about how we select judges. In most places, judges are either elected or somehow appointed by the local officials. Already, we don't have that. Already, the president appoints and the Senate confirms. But this Judicial Nomination Committee is appointed by me and other parts of our criminal justice system, and it works. The president just sent down 3 judges. At least one of them is in line to be Senate approved soon. We have a whole slew of appointments after that, so we think that works. And similarly, and that's a home rule chartered agency. And similarly, the elected attorney general's office is too. So we think the already tenuous limited home rule autonomy that we have shouldn't be upended by this Congress. Yep.
Oh, sorry, Josh Chapin here at Channel 7. You know, we are, the countdown clock is on and the end of this emergency, as you've talked about. I just wondering what is the mission going forward, and sort of with the safety of the folks in D.C. in mind?
Well, our public safety mission doesn't change. What changes with the end of the emergency is the Home Rule Charter, Section 740, that allows the president and compels the mayor to provide MPD services. That doesn't change. I laid out a mayor's order a couple of weeks ago that highlights and lays out a framework for how the district will interact moving forward. Yes, Mark.
Mayor Bowser, could you be more specifically in how MPD is going to cooperate or coordinate with ICE? You've been very clear leading up to this that ICE is not mentioned in your mayor's order.
That's correct, and I'll reiterate that.
And D.C. police will go back to following D.C. law. Will D.C. police continue to cooperate and coordinate with ICE after the emergency expires?
That's not part of our mayor's order. Requires the pre-surge status quo, the pre-emergency status quo, and that's how we will proceed.
So what does that, I mean, will they continue to cooperate, or will they go, and for instance, the chief's executive order, will that be rescinded?
That's connected to the emergency, and the emergency's over today. Yep,
So,
next
again,
question.
Does that mean it'll be rescinded and they will stop cooperating as far as transporting ICE detainees?
That certainly wouldn't be my expectation, Mark.
And the White House released numbers today on more than 2,000 arrests in the past month. More than 900 of those the White House describes as illegal aliens. Can you support, do you think those numbers are correct? And what do you make of those numbers that they have not only taken more than 2,000 people off the street, but more than 900 people who appear to have been detained by ICE in just the past month off the streets of D.C.?
I cannot confirm numbers because those aren't coming through our system. I would say when I heard them, that seemed like it would have had to be greater than the district proper. That's kind of my first gut reaction. But again, we don't have all of those specifics, so they would have to come from the White House.
Mayor, last week when you were asked...
Who's speaking? I'm sorry.
Campbell,
okay, all right,
Roberts,
gotcha.
Last week when you were asked about the Attorney General's suit regarding the National Guard, you said, look, my focus is on getting out of the emergency 100%.
Yep.
Now that that looks likely to happen, how is your posture toward the administration going to change?
What does that mean?
Forward? Meaning, you were saying I'm not focused on the National Guard suit because I'm focused on the emergency. Do you think your involvement in litigation like that will change after tonight at midnight?
My concern, I've always laid out my concerns about federal troops policing American cities, especially ours. The D.C. Guard is different, as you know. The D.C. Guard is directed by the president. Out-of-state Guard, I do think there's a legal question about it, and it has been from the very beginning. Yep.
Thanks, Mayor. First, just to clarify, through the emergency, did D.C. police and D.C. government's cooperation with ICE, was that limited to Chief Smith's executive order about information about people not in custody and transportation, or did it go beyond that?
I think you've asked me that question before, and I don't, because I can't be aware of every instance, so I can't answer that categorically, but I think that was what we've been requested.
And then just to follow up, you mentioned that it was your expectation just now that Chief Smith's executive order would be rescinded with the end of the emergency.
That's not what I said. What I said is it goes with the emergency, and the emergency is over.
Right, what does that mean?
Just what I said.
So is it still in effect? Is that executive order still in effect? Will police continue to cooperate
Mark,
with people who are not incarcerated?
I've answered that question.
Why are we all confused? Because
I'm not sure why you're confused. Because I've said it 5 different ways. And you can ask me a 6th way, and I'm not going to give you a 6th response. The status quo, and this is the last I'm going to say about it. I'm not going to take another question from you about it. The status quo is clear. It changed before the emergency. The presidential declaration compels the mayor to provide MPD services as requested by the president during the emergency for federal purposes. Immigration enforcement is such a service. Immigration enforcement is not what MPD does. And with the end of the emergency, it won't be what MPD does in the future. That's it. Yes. Yes.
Mayor Raphael with Channel 9. Have you heard from the federal government regarding your mayor's order? Because obviously you've outlined ICE is not included, but we know Attorney General Pam Bondi kind of prioritized immigration enforcement. And second, have the feds given you a rollout plan? You've laid one out, but have they given you one of when they plan to kind of retract their federal agents from the district?
Federal police officers are going to be in the district, okay? Federal police officers can enhance the public safety mission of MPD. So federal police officers will be in the district. Any other officers that the federal government uses could be in the district, but not with MPD.
Just the second part, have you heard back from the White House regarding your mayoral order that doesn't include ICE moving forward?
Yes.
Care to tell us what they said about it?
I mean, I think from the Congress and the administration, and I'm talking like people see this framework as a workable framework to get us out of the emergency, as evidenced by the fact that the president didn't try to move a new emergency, and the Congress is not moving to extend the emergency, which they have every power to do. So the framework, my framework, is that path. Yes.
Hi, Elizabeth Thomas, ABC News. In light of your ongoing efforts to enrich the arts in D.C., can we get your thoughts on the new leadership at the Kennedy Center amid, reportedly low ticket sales and high turnover of employees?
I haven't been entirely focused on that. Obviously, the Kennedy Center is an incredible asset to the district. It belongs to the nation, of course, but it is an incredible asset to the district. I sit on the board as I don't know what they call it. I'm a non-voting board member, let me put it that way. And I participate, my team participates in those meetings. And we are, of course, concerned that people from our area, from across the nation, continue to see the Kennedy Center as a place to experience the arts. So I can't be more detailed with you than that because I haven't been recently updated, but we are actively participate on the board. Yep.
Beatrice Peterson, ABC News. My understanding is you may have met with Attorney General Pam Bondi yesterday or sometime this week. Can you tell me a little bit about that meeting?
No.
Okay. All right, and a second question. The Washington Post earlier posted a article saying that internal National Guard assessments warn that the deployment in D.C. during the federal surge may have eroded public trust in the military. Any thoughts on that?
I'm not familiar. I haven't read, I just saw a blurb about that, so I haven't read the article that you're talking about. But let me be clear, when we're talking about the Guard, we're not talking about the Guardsmen and airmen and women. I think we question, as we should, the authority that they have, who they work for, if they're doing law enforcement. The guardsmen are on orders, especially our DC guard, who I call on in emergencies all the time. So I do think there is a distinction in the public about these individual Americans who are away from their family serving, and if they should be. And that's a question for political people and legal analysis. Like, now DC's a special case. The DC guard reports to who? Anybody know? The president. Not the mayor governor. There is a bill, the Congress can change it, to say that the DC guard reports to the mayor, which is what we think should happen. We think for public safety reasons it's more important. But until that changes, or until we become the 51st state, that's the issue.
Have you had any conversations with the White House or any officials in an administration about changing that? The pressure in Congress to change that?
I don't recall any recent conversations about changing the law around the National Guard, but every time I'm at the Congress, I have that conversation. Yes.
A unique circumstance. We know certainly that the DC Guard reports to the president, but can you give people, and maybe you don't know, but any expectation as to whether they're going to continue to see the Guard here? We know that their orders have been extended through November. Any sense of whether the folks from Ohio or South Carolina, those Guard are going to hang around, and what the DC Guard might be doing through November? Are they still going to be outside the Smithsonian Metro Station?
Okay, I'm sorry. That was a long. What's my expectation about the drawdown of the Guard?
Where do you see the Guard? Do you think that there's people are going to walk out of the Smithsonian Metro and still see the Guard there, maybe at least the DC National Guard, for a while? We know their orders were extended a little bit.
Yeah, so I think that the question about the litigation involving the out-of-state Guard is important, and it may mean that they stay longer, frankly. I don't know the answer to that. But I do think kind of my sense is that people will get weary. Guardsmen, the states where people have left, they will get weary, and they will want to know that they are serving their mission. And I think that there's going to be a useful life of such a deployment in the district, and I think that useful life is coming to an end. Final question. Yes.
You've mentioned before that one of the most unfortunate consequences of this 30-day period is a fraying of trust between community and police, particularly immigrant communities. And now that this is winding down, at least this portion, the part that compels you to provide MPD services,
yes.
What will you and your administration be doing to try and rebuild that trust, reassure people?
Well, I can assure you we're going to do everything possible. I don't know that there's one thing, and I don't know that it is a one-and-done thing. I think that building community trust is a long-term commitment that we have in the district. Thank you.
We now return to our previously scheduled program, already in progress.